Beneath kilometers of ice, there might be something humanity was never meant to find. A hidden city buried for thousands of years. And the most disturbing part, we may have already seen it, but no one is talking about it. Antarctica is the most unexplored place on Earth. No permanent cities, no history. At least, that's what we're told. But beneath the ice, scientists have detected strange anomalies, massive structures, unnatural heat signatures, and formations that don't belong to nature. So the question is, what is really hidden beneath the ice? It didn't begin with a mystery. It began with something routine, something scientists had done countless times before. For decades, Antarctica has been studied from above. Satellites orbit silently, capturing data, measuring ice thickness, tracking temperature shifts, observing slow changes in a landscape that seems almost frozen in time. It's predictable work, careful, repetitive, but everything changed when researchers started looking deeper. New scanning systems were introduced. Technology designed not just to observe the surface, but to penetrate it, to see through kilometers of ice and reveal what lies beneath. At first, the images were unclear, distorted, fragmented. It was easy to dismiss them as noise, interference caused by dense, ancient ice layers. But as the scans were refined, those distortions began to take shape. Patterns emerged, not random, not chaotic, structured, long, straight lines stretching across vast distances, intersecting at angles so precise. They looked intentional. At first, scientists considered geological explanations, unusual formations, unknown natural processes. But the more they analyzed the data, the harder it became to explain. Because nature does not create perfect symmetry like this, these formations extended for miles, too large to ignore, too organized to dismiss. And then came the next discovery. Some of these structures appeared hollow, massive voids, hidden beneath layers of solid ice, cavities that resembled chambers, connected spaces, like corridors. It no longer looked like a natural formation. It looked like something built, something that once had purpose. And then, the most disturbing detail. Within one of these formations, a faint but stable heat signature was detected. Not strong enough to be volcanic, not random enough to be dismissed. It remained constant, as if something beneath the ice was still holding warmth. That was the moment everything changed, because shortly after, access to the data was restricted, reports were archived, research teams were reassigned, and the deeper scans disappeared from public access. Officially, nothing unusual had been found, but behind the scenes, something had clearly been discovered. To understand what might be hidden beneath Antarctica, we have to challenge something we've always believed, that this continent has always been frozen, because the truth is, it hasn't. Geological evidence shows that Antarctica was once a very different place. Millions of years ago, it was warmer, not slightly warmer, but drastically different. Forests covered parts of the land, rivers moved across the surface. Life existed where today there is only ice and silence. But this is where things become difficult to explain. There are ancient maps, created long before modern science, that appear to show Antarctica without ice, not as a vague shape, but with detail. Coastlines that align with what modern radar imaging has revealed beneath the ice. Mountain ranges that match structures hidden deep below the surface today. How could that be possible? How could ancient civilizations map something that is now buried under kilometers of ice without the technology to see beneath it? One explanation is coincidence, but the accuracy makes that explanation difficult to accept, which leads to a far more unsettling idea. What if Antarctica wasn't always hidden? What if, at some point in the past, it was accessible? If that's true, then it opens a possibility few are willing to consider. That something existed there, not temporary settlements, not scattered human presence, but a structured civilization, organized, advanced, capable of building large-scale formations, precise enough to still be detected today. And if such a civilization did exist, then the question becomes even more disturbing. What happened to it? Because whatever the answer is, the ice didn't just cover the land, it sealed it, preserved it, like something that was never meant to be uncovered again. If something truly exists beneath Antarctica, then the next question becomes unavoidable. Why don't we know about it? Antarctica is not like the rest of the world. It doesn't belong to a single nation. It is governed by international agreements, agreements that control access with extreme precision. Officially, these rules exist to protect the environment, but some restrictions go far beyond environmental concerns. Entire regions are completely off limits. No independent expeditions, no civilian exploration. Even flights are restricted over certain zones. And when it comes to satellite imagery, things become even more unusual. Certain areas appear blurred, distorted, in some cases, completely missing. In a world where nearly every part of the planet has been mapped in high detail, Antarctica still contains blind spots, areas where data simply isn't available, and that alone raises questions. There have been reports, never officially confirmed, of research teams encountering structures beneath the ice, discoveries that were immediately classified, scientists reassigned without explanation, projects shut down quietly, data that disappears, not destroyed, but no longer accessible, almost as if someone is controlling what can be seen and what must remain hidden. Because if the existence of these structures were confirmed, it wouldn't just rewrite history, it would force us to reconsider everything we believe about civilization itself. And that kind of truth isn't something easily released. Up to this point, everything can still be explained. Lost civilizations, buried structures, forgotten history. But some reports suggest something far more unsettling. Because not everything beneath the ice is silent. During deep scanning operations, unusual electromagnetic activity has been detected. Not random interference, patterns, repeating sequences, structured in a way that suggests intent, almost like a signal. At first, it was dismissed. Equipment malfunction, data error. But when multiple teams, using completely different systems, detected similar patterns, that explanation became harder to ignore. There were also field reports, compasses spinning without explanation, navigation systems failing unexpectedly, instruments behaving unpredictably, as if something beneath the ice was interfering with them. And then came the most difficult accounts to explain. Researchers describing a feeling. Not fear exactly, but awareness, as if they were not alone, not seen, but sensed. A presence, something beneath the surface that was not entirely inactive. If even a fraction of these reports are true, then this isn't just a buried city. It's something else entirely, something that didn't disappear, something that remained, hidden beneath layers of ice, waiting, and maybe watching. The truth about Antarctica may never be revealed, but one thing is certain: we've only explored a fraction of what lies beneath the ice, and sometimes the most dangerous discoveries are the ones we were never supposed to make. What do you think is really hidden down there?